Squidward was delivering takeout to Sandy, but the moment he stepped inside, the entire tree dome suddenly took off. It transformed into a rocket and blasted into outer space. Squidward was terrified. Soon, the gravity disappeared. SpongeBob had never experienced anything like it before. Squidward also started enjoying the fun of being weightless. However, the real danger was just beginning. First, they flew through a field of space debris. Then they entered a freezing nebula. Squidward was instantly frozen into a block of ice. SpongeBob even built a Patrick snowman. But soon, they entered a tropical nebula. The snowman immediately caught fire. Sandy even burned herself on the telescope. Then they were about to pass through a radiation zone. Sandy quickly told them to hide under the lead blankets. As they passed through the zone, SpongeBob curiously stuck his hand out. His hand instantly mutated into a monster. Meanwhile, Squidward had no protection inside the tree dome, so he was exposed to the full effects of the radiation. Eventually, the rocket finally landed on the moon. Squidward immediately escaped from the rocket. Only after getting outside did he realize that he was standing on the moon. He slowly began drifting downward, but his helmet pressed him into a ball. Meanwhile, Sandy opened the hatch and quickly built a base. She sent SpongeBob out to search the moon for intelligent life. At that moment, Squidward suddenly realized that the moon wasn't so bad after all. At least SpongeBob was 384,400 kilometers away from him. He had finally found a place without SpongeBob. Just then, SpongeBob discovered a trail of footprints. He followed them and found a Krusty Krab delivery order. He thought this was the intelligent life Sandy had been looking for, but there was nothing in the bag except a Krabby Patty. Meanwhile, Squidward discovered the boundary between the moon's day and night. He peeked around the corner and didn't see SpongeBob, so he happily walked into the dark side. Since it was lunchtime, SpongeBob accidentally confused the launch button with the lunch button. The rocket immediately blasted off. Luckily, the rocket's anchor caught onto the moon. Sandy quickly climbed up the chain and shut down the rocket. But by then, the moon had already been knocked out of its orbit. The resulting tidal effects caused the water level in Bikini Bottom to drop dramatically. The residents could only walk around with their heads hanging down. Meanwhile, the spacecraft was almost out of fuel. They had no way to move the moon back into position. Just as the group began crying because they couldn't return to Earth, Squidward suddenly floated out, and right behind him was Santa Claus. It turned out the dark side of the moon was actually Santa's home. Santa quickly noticed that something was wrong with the moon. He suggested using an explosion to push it back into place. SpongeBob came up with an idea. He pulled out several cans of soda. After drinking them, they all let out one enormous burp. But it didn't work at all. Their ridiculous attempt made Santa burst out laughing. Sandy angrily grabbed Santa by the beard and demanded that he come up with a solution. So Santa decided to use his tools to push the rocket back into space. He told SpongeBob to bring out the Jack-in-the-Box. Then he used the clown to launch Sandy's spacecraft into space. SpongeBob wanted to try it too, but the clown flew out and hit the moon. The moon instantly shattered. The residents of Bikini Bottom were suddenly in grave danger. Santa panicked and had no idea what to do, but SpongeBob came up with another idea. He pulled out a water gun and had Santa fill him with water. SpongeBob grew bigger and bigger. At the same time, the water level in Bikini Bottom gradually returned to normal. It turned out SpongeBob had transformed himself into the moon.